Hey, how's it going there, folks? Welcome back here to a Monday night update. Here is upon us. It is about 9:05 p.m. California time, July 8th, 2024. Latest activity here on the globe shows some movement in Hawaii, right around the Kilauea volcano. 1.7 earthquake coming in the green flag right there. So let's take a look here. See what we got going on at Hawaii first. Still looking at some earthquake activity here, generally across the summit area and the upper east rift zone. Quite a few of these earthquakes venturing pretty close here to the crater region. That's the lava lake area where there's been a few eruptions here over the past couple years or so. Our most recent eruption, of course, down here across the southwest rift zone that lasted for about 10 hours last month. Since then, we've been building up quite a bit of steam, quite a bit of pressure out here in terms of inflation. Let's run over and double check the volcano map here. Stand by for a second. Thought I had the window open, but I guess I don't. And we'll see what's going on here across this volcano. By the way, the majority of the volcanoes that are monitored by the USGS are in the green. Or, like the Great Sitkin volcano, it's always in a period of somewhat unrest up there. But as far as the Cascades, everything across the west coast, pretty quiet. All in the green for now. Kilauea volcano at a yellow and advisory, meaning, we got some elevated earthquake activity out here. And along with that, the inflation continues. So let's check out the latest deformation data here that's provided by the USGS. Pretty sharp rise here in the last few hours. Super sharp, actually. Look at that. And of course, if you look at the that's just the 2-day model right here. But if you look at the long-term models, that continues right over the past week, and on the past month graph here, we're still showing some inflation. I don't know, I'm guessing what they did was they added a smoothing type of technical feature on here to where we don't see all these little ups and downs, these little bumps on the graph, and it should just show, a more smoother type of data coming in. But obviously we can see it there on the 2-day chart pretty nicely. Either way, continuing to see quite a bit of inflation out there across the summit area and the upper east rift zone. With earthquake activity, I'm going to bring up the seismograph station here and see what we have. Still seeing a lot of earthquake activity out here in the last, this is the last 12 hours, right? Past 12 hours. Every single one of these spikes here, and if you look closely, you can see a lot of these little spikes as well. Those are earthquakes. A lot of fracturing going on out here. A lot of pressure underneath the surface here from all the inflation that's going on. Some of the larger quakes showing up out here, some 2s and 3s, but got to remember every single one of these spikes here are going to be earthquakes, and there's probably a good 100 or more just there in the last 12 hours. Let's go check out the update that was put out today. The volcano is currently not erupting here, and of course, we still have earthquakes, obviously quite a bit. They're stating that they've decreased slightly over the past 24 hours, but the counts remain above background levels. So, along with the longer-term gradual inflation there of the summit and the upper rift zones continues. Just a waiting game, as I've mentioned here. Let's see, over the past 24 hours, there were approximately 20 earthquakes detected beneath the caldera region and 50 earthquakes detected beneath the upper east rift zone. So it does look like on some of them they are counting those little spikes, but if you look at the USGS map here, there's not 57 earthquakes up here at all. They're actually only showing 21 here in the last 24 hours. So they're not including all the super duper small microquakes that are taking place out here, but they're still there. We're getting close to seeing something here. Now this earthquake, relatively shallow up around the summit area. If we start seeing an increasing movement up here across the summit area, that could be a sign that we may see a return of an eruptive event take place up here across the crater region, potentially. So we'll watch that. Just a little trend that I'm noticing here, at least on the USGS map. All right, out and about here. Of course, that earthquake activity off the coast there of Vancouver Island ranges this morning at 5.2. Nothing else showing up here on the map in terms of further activity. Let's double check the tremor map here along the Cascadia subduction zone, see what we have. I was expecting to see some tremor out here along the northern edge of the Cascadia, but nothing being picked up, at least according to this map here. And we only got about 64 epicenters. That's actually a decent decline in the total number of tremors that we've been observing over the past 6 weeks or so here along the Cascadia subduction zone. But I don't think we're over yet. We'll see how the trend continues here tonight and tomorrow. I'll see if they add any more for tomorrow night. Let's see what else we have here. California. Nevada was rocking and rolling out here a little bit earlier today in the afternoon. A couple of threes popping up here just southwest of Hawthorne. A couple faults out here outside the Mono Lake region. Long Valley supervolcano right here. This is on a fracture zone, so I don't believe that's associated with any type of volcanic activity, but there's some fractures in that area. Southern California here. A couple smaller earthquakes up and down the board. Really nothing of major concern. The latest one, a 0.9, right smack dab on the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault there, the plate boundary. No big earthquakes there for now. Also, Utah seeing a little bit of activity out here with a 3.4 coming in earlier this afternoon as well. Roughly about the same time as we've seen increasing pressure out here in Nevada. Start getting some earthquakes inland. We've seen that 3.4 coming in about 2 o'clock my time here. Relatively shallow at about 3 kilometers or so. Yeah, what do we got up here around Eugene? Coburg, Oregon, a couple 2s out there. The volcanoes up here look fairly quiet for now. Nothing going on as far as any major activity goes. And the Yellowstone National Park, supervolcano. A couple earthquakes showing up there. Really not seeing a whole lot, though, in terms of earthquake activity. A couple very small, super small spikes there throughout the last 24 hours. But, again, nothing major. Throughout the rest of the country, we're lighting up a little bit out here in Oklahoma and Texas. These oil fields getting hit. And just show you guys here, there's numerous oil fields out here. Hundreds, thousands of oil fields. And that is where some of this earthquake activity is striking out here today. Quite a few wastewater disposal ponds as well. Just overall, common. It's common to see earthquake activity out there in these oil fields, and it will continue. Some of these earthquakes can get rather big as well. But for now, we've got a couple 2s out there. In the mentioned regions, Panama, 5.3 coming in early this morning. Nothing else going on there. Let me check out the Earthquake 3D program, see what's up. Not really. Not a whole lot of activity right now. Looks like a little bit northward into the Middle America Trench. Still got a little bit of swarming going on here south of the border in the Baja California area. We'll still keep an eye here on the Southern California region due to this little swarm that continues to kick up there south of the border. 5s and 4s, a magic number out there into a little segment here of the Peruchile Trench. There's a little cluster going on here. Pretty shallow, about 21 to 31 kilometers deep. If I remember right, we've seen some larger activity deeper in this area. Let's see here. Well, yeah, there was that 7.2 late last month. A couple other 6s in there as well. Could be aftershock activity, which is common. For a 7.2, we can definitely see some 3s and 4s and even 5s weeks later. So that looks like that's aftershock activity taking place there for now. Pretty deep earthquake underneath the San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina area, 211 kilometers deep there into the Peruchile Trench for 4.5 early this morning. Aside from that, let's see what else we got here going on around the globe. Australia getting in on some of the mix with a 4.4, pretty decent sized earthquake up here in the Tanami Desert. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Northern Territory area. I was trying to get Missy Mimi to maybe go down here and take a little exploring trip, but she said she will never visit Australia because of all the venomous snakes and spiders and whatnot that are down here. I think it'd be cool to visit this area, but we'll see. What else we got here? New Zealand 3.4, fairly deep earthquake underneath the North Island, it looks like, or just off the North Island coast. Still quiet out here across the Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, and the Fiji area. Been lacking some earthquake activity here for the past couple days, but I'm sure that will change soon enough. Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. Iceland getting hit up there slightly. A little swarm going on up there, it looks like. Let me go see what's up here for the Iceland map. And that movement is, wow, that's kicking up fairly nicely up there. Rift boundary way up north here. That's going to be associated with the, you can barely see Iceland up here, but in general, this is going to be a divergent zone right across here, indicating the continental drift activity there. Quite a few threes and a bunch of earthquakes all up and down the board here. Not really in one specific spot, but more on a broader scale. That could enhance some further activity across, who knows what, maybe a few volcanoes out here. Right now, still watching this area down around the Savartsingi area where our most recent eruptive activity has taken place. Let's see if there's anything of noteworthy value here from the Icelandic Met Office, which was put out. This was put out about 3 days ago, so nothing new on that. As far as the Savartsingi area goes, we're still watching some inflation, obviously, but really nothing new. Yeah, showing some of the earthquake activity north here, but keep an eye on it, right? I mean, it's always going to see earthquake activity out there, but the question is how much and what it's going to lead to. It does look like it's occurring on these fracture zones out here. USGS not reporting any of that, though. This is all from the EMSC model. All right, let's see what else we have here. Space weather activity, fairly quiet across the board. There's not a whole lot going on in terms of large flares. We do have a couple active regions out here on the eastern limb, getting into a little bit better view for some viewing. Looks like an area way over here on the eastern limb, southeastern limb here of the sunspot complex. It looks fairly dynamic, but again, it's hard to tell. I see a little bit of orange in there, some close proximity of other colors. We'll get a better shot of that tomorrow, but that does look like it's an area to watch here, maybe for some future flaring. This region here, I had my hopes up for it, but we're getting a dynamic split, and we shouldn't really see too much activity here in terms of larger flaring from that sunspot. All these others look fairly stable. We'll continue to watch this area as it travels or progresses a little bit more into the Earth-directed view. Overall threat, 40% chance for an M flare. C flare at 99. X flare has been stuck at 5% for quite a while. Let's see, no major solar events in the forecast for now. Storm Prediction Center, in terms of severe weather, a little bit of a actually there was over 100 tornado warnings issued out here across this region today, thanks to the tropical storm, probably tropical depression now, Beryl, that stirred up a lot of moisture and a whole bunch of flooding being observed out there. So we do have a chance for some further tornado activity there into the evening, along with some wind threats as well. That severe weather outlook is going to shift well to the northeast here for tomorrow, bringing with that tornado threat as well into portions of Indiana, Kentucky, and portions of Missouri. So looking at the long-term models here, I do like to bring these up on occasion and see what we got for pressure out here in terms of dominant weather patterns. And of course, California has been baking out here thanks to a dominant high pressure up here in the Canada region, cooking us. Far as long-term models go, it does not look like we're going to see any relief out here for the West Coast. Average is probably going to be, as far as average temperature, is going to be in the clear. Above average is going to be here in the darker orange colors. Really no major troughs coming in. And in fact, towards the end of July here, it looks like we're going to see that reestablishment of that high pressure taking hold. Unfortunately, out here across the West Coast, I'm not looking forward to that. We're just going to bake. Hot temperatures are expected, with above average high temperatures forecasted there. Really not a whole lot of rain out there for the West Coast either. Unfortunately, it's our dry season. I don't know why they have some rain out here. Maybe, I don't know when that is. We got some tropical moisture coming in. I don't know. They do have it lit up out here a little bit. Most of the rain obviously from Barrow and other systems out here, but I'll take anything we can get. I just want a little bit of cooler weather. I'm tired of the 110. I think we hit 105 today. It's supposed to be about the same tomorrow. Then we shoot back up in the 114 range here in Northern California. So it's going to be a hot one once again. Let's see what else we got, folks. I'm trying to think anything magic or anything crazy going out here in the buoy world. I don't see anything in event mode. No magical wave out here popping up out of the blue. Everything looks calm and clear. See what we got down here across the Tehachapi area. Well, this is a GPS displacement here observed. And of course this area, you got mountain ranges, right, due to the Garlock Fault shear zone and other plate dynamics at work here. Whole bunch of movement here to the north. Obviously, that's a sign of some strain with this shear zone as the pull up the plate boundary map here. I guess this gives a little simple explanation. We got that Pacific plate moving off to the northwest, North American plate here to the southeast, and that adds a lot of strain up here against this plate boundary where it's at, the San Andreas Fault right here. And it's kind of acting as a spring, if you will. I think eventually this area will see a large earthquake. The Garlock Fault shear zone in general, I mean, you can see it right there on the map how far north this is being pushed. Vertical displacement up there as well. I like to check out all these GPS stations here at various areas on occasion. Pretty neat to look at. I mean, you can look at anything out here around the world. You can check out, inflation there across Hawaii, Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea. Of course, the older volcanoes, they're not going to be quite as active. This goes 2024, yeah. And of course, as a hotspot moves, of course, everything else moves as well, right? Well, it's the islands or the Pacific plate moving over the hot spot. Of course, things are going to be adjusted right here. Downward trend for quite a while there at that Mauna Kea volcano. All right, folks, I think that's about it. I'm going to probably call it a night here. Earthquake activity. Definitely got some going on out here. I don't think we're quite done yet with earthquake activity into the Pacific Northwest. That was just a whole lot of quakes here with really no main quake going on. We've seen some adjustment going on across the tremor department up north. Really not much though in the last couple days, but we did see an increase when this all began here last week. So we know there's a whole lot of something going on out here, a whole lot of movement. So we'll keep an eye on our obvious areas of interest. Wouldn't doubt it though if we see something kick up here later tonight, at least overnight here around the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu area. It never is quiet for more than a couple days in this area. It's a major seismically active zone, and this is actually the last week of activity here. It looks fairly quiet, so I feel like we're overdue here for a little bit of larger scale movement around these little seismic gap zones. In fact, I think we've been more active here across the northwestern corner and adjacent plates than we have been specifically in this area. So we'll definitely watch it. Santa Cruz Mountain or Santa Cruz Islands area, that earthquake was on the 3rd, so 5 days ago for that quake. Definitely should see something kick up here overnight. All right, folks, have a good night. We'll catch you guys back out here tomorrow morning. Unless something major happens. Have a good night. Stay safe.